Hi, I'm Rataba Siddiqui. I'm the Instagram social media editor.
Hi, my name is Grace Taylor. I am the Facebook social media editor.
And my name is Sydney Goldsmith, and I am the Twitter social media editor.
So basically, today we are talking about how revolutionary it is that certain apps like Pinterest and VSCO don't have likes or comments, and just how that's like different compared to other social medias people use like TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that. So first, I thought it'd be a good idea for all of us to just go around and talk about what our favorite between the two apps are, VSCO or Pinterest. And so for me, I would say Pinterest, just because there's no like I guess pressure to like post a lot, and it's much more organized, and you find more inspiration. I feel like compared to VSCO, and it's overall like a more pleasing app to look at. What about you, Taba?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I find myself posting more on VSCO though, but because it's just so difficult to post on Pinterest.
Yeah.
But I like Pinterest because it like curates your feed. And the thing with VSCO is you're kind of like trapped in who you follow.
Yeah.
So what you follow is basically your entire feed, whereas Pinterest, the things you pin is the stuff that shows up. So I just like it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a thing about how Pinterest is like social media without the social, and I think that's really true. I definitely prefer Pinterest. I don't really go on VSCO that much. And like Rutaba said, it's just kind of there's not as much to see because it's just all like who you follow, where Pinterest it's kind of like curating stuff for you all the time. Like every time you refresh it's something new.
Yeah, I agree what you said with about how Pinterest there's no social to it because there's no one on the app that I really like interact with. Like it's very much centered around you. Whereas like VSCO, same way, but you still see like everyone's posts.
Yeah, that's kind of like the problem I have with apps like Instagram. I'd say Snapchat, but not really. Where it's like there's this underlying like pressure of how many views is my story gonna get, how many likes is my post gonna get, how many followers am I gonna have. Whereas VSCO and Pinterest don't really have that because VSCO you can see who's liking your stuff, but it's not really no one really cares.
Yeah.
And then Pinterest, if you're not posting, you're not getting likes, and there's genuinely no like system. There's followers, but no one really looks at that. So it's just a lot less pressure because in general I just think apps like Instagram that are super like focused on likes and followers and numbers and stuff like that, I just think they're so bad for your mental health.
Yeah.
So I just kind of like stopped going on it in general. So I do prefer Pinterest for that.
Yeah, for sure.
I find it really interesting like how those apps that are like Pinterest, how that's kind of like it's kind of stuck around for like a really long time. Like it was the first like social media, if you want to call it that, that I had like when I was little because it didn't really have like the social aspect. So like there wasn't a lot for like my parents to worry about, like sending their 9-year-old on this app, you know? And then like I still have it and use it today. And so I just kind of wonder if like am I going to want to be on Instagram for that long in the future when I'm older? Or like is that kind of gonna start like wearing on me? I think that's kind of it'll be interesting to see if like that lasts because other social medias have like died out. So I wonder if kind of the competitiveness of Instagram will take a part into like the longevity of it.
It's also interesting because I think the reason why Pinterest like has been so big for so long is because it doesn't have like that number count, and their algorithm is a lot different than other apps. And it just in general it's a more easygoing app, I could say, than Instagram because you can just go on there and do whatever. And I think Instagram's definitely gonna die out for so many reasons. But I think that well, back in like 2013, Pinterest was really big with like white moms,
Yeah.
and then it's becoming like big again with teens because like fashion inspo and stuff like that. And I do think a big factor of that is that it doesn't have a visible like follower number count, so people don't hyper fixate on those numbers. And so I just think it's so much better for you in general.
Yeah, I just remember like you said back in 2013, my mom would like always go on and like look at recipes, and now like I see all my friends use it all the time. And it's just that app is like way more organized and just again more curated towards you because all these other social medias it's all about other people and what they're doing. Whereas like on these apps it's like helps you develop like your sense of style or your like aesthetic, I guess you could call it. So
I also think that like Pinterest in general is just kind of more of a like creative app, I feel like, because it doesn't have those like number systems. I feel like it's very much a creative space where Instagram can kind of lose the creativity because some people are just posting what they think is going to get a lot of likes. So they're not really like putting their own creativity and like ideas into what they're posting. I mean, some people are, but I think just with the harsh number systems that Instagram currently has, a lot of people kind of aren't able to use it as like a creative outlet now, and now it's just more about those numbers, which I think is kind of weird and kind of scary.
And that brings up a question that I had for you guys, because, like, let's say hypothetically Instagram does get a like take away likes, because I know Sydney, her Instagram had like a trial where they didn't show likes for like a week because they were trying that out on people, and she was just telling me about how she thought it was the same layout, it just she couldn't see likes and she liked it much better. So hypothetically, let's say Instagram does do that. What is social media without like likes and followers? Like, how do people navigate that? How do people use it? Like, just what is it without that? Because I think for so long that's what it's like, that's what Instagram has kind of become over the years. Like, you post to get likes, you don't post because you want to post.
yeah.
So it's like, without that, what is it?
Instagram is so like centered. Like I just can't imagine like what it would be like without the likes. Cause I know like everyone checks them and stuff. So I just maybe people will become like posting more of what they want to post instead of like trying to fit this like mold in society of like, oh, I'm gonna post these type of pictures because I see everyone else wearing this and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think just it'll kind of, because the likes aren't really like adding anything to the app. Like the app will still have DMs and like maybe comments, I don't really know, but like it'll still have that kind of like communication aspect, which is kind of the social aspect. Like likes aren't really, they don't like add a whole lot except for like insecurity. Like there's not really, because you don't normally, like people don't really scroll through like who liked it, they're just kind of looking at the number, you know. So I think that it won't lose kind of that social aspect. Like I don't think it'll become like a Pinterest because we already have Pinterest. I just think it'll kind of lose some of those like downfalls that it has, and like how it kind of can root insecurity in some people. So I think that they should, I had the trial and it was kind of nice. So I hope they kind of follow through with that, but we'll see.
And I think that it's just interesting to see because, like, for a couple of years there, Instagram kind of like died out, and I think that's when Pinterest and VSCO, like, a lot of people started joining it, like 2018, I want to say, and then around like 2019, 2020, people started posting like casually on Instagram, so it's become more of like a casual app. But I still prefer Pinterest over all of it. I think VSCO is pretty nice, but it's still, I don't know. I feel like I worry too much about like how my feed's gonna look, and I think too much about that, so I try not to do that. But again, you can still like see who's liking your stuff, so I think it's Pinterest is better.
Yeah, for sure. And VSCO too, you're trapped in like who you follow because like with Instagram, even like pretty much any other social media app besides VSCO, you're just trapped in who you're following because there's no explore page. Like you can't like go find other things. So you really, if you want to like find something, like look at certain things, you have to like go out of your way to like follow pages and stuff too.
I definitely used to, this is kind of a hot take. I definitely used to dislike Instagram a lot more, or like didn't like going on it or didn't like posting on it, especially because I felt like there was kind of this stigma around posting too much, which is weird. But I kind of like slowly, like I feel like through quarantine and just like getting older and everything, I've become like more like comfortable with it, and I just kind of like will post what I want, and I like rarely ever check the numbers, unlike how I did like in middle school or something. So I do find myself like actually enjoying Instagram a lot more. But again, that like kind of came with like time and work, which is kind of weird. So I feel like if they kind of lost some of those number systems, like people weren't going to have like they aren't going to have to work to like the app.
Yeah.
So I think it would also, from a business standpoint, I think Instagram would probably benefit. But then also, how are like influencers going to make their money? I
Mhm.
don't know.
I think that, but because of influencers, they also, like, you see, like, I don't know, Charlie D'Amelio on your feed or something, and you're gonna get insecure. Like, there's no way you can go on Instagram and not get insecure, whether it's likes, followers, or just people in general. And so I think that they'll be fine. People that make money off Instagram make enough to where they'll be fine. But yeah, I guess you're right. But in general, I just think it's just be much better. It'd be a change because that's what Instagram's always had. But I think that they definitely can take notes from apps like VSCO and Pinterest, and maybe that might like increase their people that use the app because I know a lot of people stopped using Instagram just in general.
Yeah, and I feel like age and maturity is such a factor when it comes into likes and like how people take them. Because definitely, like, I feel like we all felt this when we were younger. We paid a little bit more attention to what you're posting and stuff. But like as we gotten older, we kind of stopped. And like I think that's where it becomes detrimental is when like younger people are feeding into these likes when they shouldn't be. You know.
Definitely, because when you're young and impressionable like that, it's so easy to put all your self worth into how many likes you're getting, how many followers you have. So I think that for younger people, apps like Pinterest and VSCO are really revolutionary, and I think it's also better for them. And like Sid said earlier, there's like not much bad stuff on those apps. So like parental controls, you don't really have to worry about. Whereas Instagram, God knows what's on there. So I think those apps are also good for like younger kids. I sometimes I wonder how much better like my perception of myself would have been if I hadn't focused so much on likes and stuff when I was younger. But I definitely do agree with age and maturity comes not caring.
Yeah.
So yeah. So closing thoughts. Yeah, I definitely think that Instagram should implement something like something along the lines of VSCO and Pinterest, but also I love to see VSCO and Pinterest have like story features because I personally love the Instagram story feature.
Yeah, I think apps should definitely start doing this more. It's just gonna be hard to imagine, like how I guess the culture of these apps like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or whatever is going to look like without these likes. So I think definitely it's a good idea for apps to transition.
Yeah, I think it won't hurt anyone seriously. So so hopefully they start to take those steps in the right direction.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. This was the SME podcast. I'm sure we'll do more in the future. Bye.
Bye.